All right, folks, that was I Miss You by Incubus. Welcome back to Parasight Radio right here on the Fate Radio Network. I am talking to Jesse Marcel Jr. about his book, The Roswell Legacy. Now, Jesse, what made you want to write this book the most? What was your main goal in this?
Well, my dad died, and then he started getting all kind of criticisms from the skeptics. Some very unwarranted criticism. And it's like, if you don't like the message, kill the messenger. And if he's not around to defend himself, so much the better. So I thought I'd pick up the challenge of actually defining who my dad was, what he did, his basic training, his military record, which was exemplary. He won the Air Medal for air action in the Philippines, and he was radar trainer. He was actually intelligence school. He was on the faculty of the intelligence school that the Army had, and so he was who he said he was, and he had the training and background to know exactly what he was talking about. Because men of the 509 Bomb Group were handpicked, because this was the SAC bomber group that dropped the atomic bomb. So these are not fly-by-night dummies that they had there.
Now, how far up was he in the military? What was his rank?
He was a major.
A major, okay.
Yeah. When he got out, they bounced you up one grade to he was a lieutenant colonel by the time he got up. But his rank while he was on active service was a major.
Okay. Now, did any of that have to do with the Roswell incident? Did they want to give him a higher rank due to keep him quiet, or was that just because he worked his way up?
I think he just worked his way up. He was a very loyal officer who followed orders and did what he was told to do, and so that's where he kept quiet for so many years.
Right. Now, when he got older on his deathbed, did he tell you that he wanted his story known?
Actually, I didn't discuss it with him, but it wasn't until after he died that I realized all this flack was coming in from not very nice people. I won't name names, but they're just don't confuse me with facts because my mind is made up type people. So what I want to do is kind of clear the air, let people know who he was, and that this really was what he said it was.
Now, did anything change at all from before he found the crash to after? Did his attitude change at all?
No, he kept it kind of close to the chest, and we never really discussed it that much between us. And I do remember, my wife was talking to him one night, and she asked him about the bodies, and he said, "No, I hadn't seen the bodies myself, but like I said, he knew people who did." And so, if he wanted to exaggerate, he could say, "Oh yeah, I saw him," and blah blah blah. But he didn't. He was honest.
Well, and that's one thing I never really understood too, because I had heard some things about them finding bodies, and then with your dad's case where he had just found the wreckage, and so he had said that he did hear that they had found bodies.
Well, he knew of people who'd seen him.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, he did not see him. As a matter of fact, the material that he brought home looked like it was portions of the interior of this thing. Not, there's no structural shell, like the spacecraft skin, but it just looked like it was material that had blown out to the side, like they had an in-flight explosion, and that crippled enough to make it crash elsewhere.
Now, he was loyal until the very end. As far as the flack that he was getting, was it all from just skeptics, or did the military have stuff to say about him? Or
no, the military had a hands-off attitude toward this, and there wasn't any real bad rumors and things like that come up until after he died, because these cowards were afraid to attack him while he's still alive. So I decided to take the baton up and clear the air.
Right. Well, and I mean, that's one thing that kind of happens is these people don't have the cojones, if you will, to confront people before before anything happens to them, or even to their face. They do it behind their back.
Exactly. But to my knowledge, there was none of this real, people degrading his memory or degrading his actions and degrading his memory until after he died.
Now, I'm sorry, go ahead.
They did not see his record. I did. His OER reports were always very good, excellent. He had the highest ratings. He got the Medal of Honor with Battle Stars, and he has all kind of medals and decorations for meritorious duty and heroic duty in the Air Force, Army Air Force.
Now, as a father, was he able to always separate family life from his work?
Yeah, exactly. Never talked about his work.
No, that's definitely a good thing. Now,
I didn't know what he did until later.
Oh. Well, when he found the crash, what was the man's name that originally found it?
Mac Brazel. He was the foreman of the Foster Ranch, which is about 75 or 80 miles northwest of Roswell.
Okay.
It's a sheep ranch.
And now, did he know them previous to this?
No. What he picked up balloon wreckage all the time because they had weather balloons flying over his ranch, all the time because from White Sands, New Mexico. When he saw this, he realized this was not a weather balloon. This was something far different than a weather balloon that he's ever seen.
Right.
And that's why he picked it up to bring it into the sheriff at Chavez County, who then contacted Colonel Blanchard about this.
And when he talked to him about it, what did they think at first when he was talking to Mac about it?
I'm not sure.
Did he ever really talk about that part of it?
Who? My dad?
Yeah.
No, not to me anyway. Like I said, he kept this close to his chest.
Okay. Now, did anything ever come out as far as Mac saying anything to the public about it?
Well, I read anecdotal events where he was interviewed by the local radio station, and that he talked to the station manager. One famous statement that he made was that, "You heard about little green men?" He said they weren't green, they were gray. And that kind of gives you a little. He must have seen the bodies himself.
Right. So, was it that he discovered both parts then, or?
He must have,
Because
the only way I can see that. But I know he was intensely interviewed by the Air Force and was taken out of incommunicado for a while, held incommunicado for about a week or so, according to what I read. But, like I said, I don't know this myself personally, but this is just what I read.
Right. Now, so it had landed on, or both pieces had landed on his property, is what he was saying.
Yeah, it sounds like that's what happened.
Okay. Now, as far as you said it looked like it was more of the interior. Was the main body a little bit different in the material? Do you know?
Well, I didn't see that, but read descriptions of what they found. It looked like it was a flying saucer, the traditional flying saucer type thing.
Mm-hmm.
But, I didn't see that, so I can only report exactly on what I saw.
Right. Now, you had said that you were in Iraq, and when you came back is when you really decided to write this book.
Yeah,
what in Iraq prompted you to do that?
Well, I started writing it in Iraq because I realized that, day to day, you never know when you're going to be around the next day. So I started writing it there in case something happened and sending notes home in case, bad things happen, which they did.
And I have to give you props for going out there and defending us, and it's a real honor to talk to you.
It was an interesting assignment. I enjoyed
Yeah.
it. I enjoyed it, but if you like being shot at, I guess there's a certain thrill there.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that within the next couple of years we can finally pull out of there, and everything will be done with that.
I'll tell you what, we need, get this thing settled.
Now, in your bout in the military, what did you do for the military? What was your job?
Well, my primary job was a flight surgeon. So they sent me to flight school. I learned to fly helicopters, and as such, when I was in Iraq, I lived in a Black Hawk helicopter. That was my job was to fly with the crew and do everything that the crew did. Except I did not physically control the crew, but they stationed me on the door guns and things like that. But fortunately, I never had to shoot anybody. But I was ready to.
So after the Roswell incident, you didn't see any other crashes or any type of phenomenon or anything like that?
No, I tell you what, the only strange thing I saw, and this happened to be in Iraq. We were flying back in the Black Hawk one night from close to Turkey toward our base in Balad, which is about 50 miles north of Baghdad. And this is about late night, about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And, of course, you don't fly with running lights on because you get shot down if you did.
Mm-hmm.
So all our running lights were in infrared that you could see with night vision goggles.
Mm-hmm.
But I was in the back and just kind of dozing off there. I saw a light skimming over the surface of the desert, maybe 1,000 feet, 2,000 feet, I'm not sure, but way up in the air. But it was a no-fly zone, so I knew this was not an aircraft of any kind that should be there. Besides that, it was a visible light, and you don't want to fly with visible light.
Right.
But there was just a light in the sky, whatever that means, but it's heading pretty rapidly up towards Turkey from area of Tikrit up toward Turkey, up to Kurdistan.
Now, how high up is a no-fly zone?
Well, there's no-fly zone for anything but military aircraft.
Oh, okay. Now, to your knowledge, that there was no other aircrafts in the area that would have been in the no-fly zone?
Oh, yeah. There are two things. Again, whatever this was, it was a steady white light. Was not a position light or anything like that on a standard aircraft. And again, no one would be flying with a visible light.
Right.
So that's also a target.
Right.
Target at that time.
And see, there's been so many different theories on the UFO phenomena. In your opinion, what do you feel if these things are coming to Earth? What is their major agenda? What do you think that is?
I think they're scientists. I think they're just curious in a more or less primitive civilization like we are, and I think they're interested in development, see if we'll survive our nuclear age, which I don't know about that yet. But
Right.
I think they're just curious, just like we would be about them.
Now, you had said before about these things maybe being probes. I kind of know what a probe is, but for our type of probes, they're a little bit less advanced as far as picking up data, or has it come a lot further since?
Well, we're doing pretty good there. We got several probes on Mars, and we have Lunar Explorer, and we have telescopes that are finding planets all over the place out there.
Yeah.
And so, like our probes on Mars are pretty sophisticated. They're looking for life. They're looking for biological activity on Mars, which they are pretty sure is there.
I've had a pretty good theory about that too. I mean, from the stuff that they had collected from the rover, they can tell that life maybe at one time had been there. And I think probably to this day there's probably something under the surface that we can't see.
Yeah. Well, they detected methane gas, and methane gas is a product of biology. There are certain things in geology that can produce this, but this methane gas is being replaced all the time. So if it's by geology, it would similarly, go away or give up. But it's being replaced by I think, biological activity in the subsurface areas of Mars.
Now, the atmosphere on Mars, is that carbon?